This next news story comes to us from Ash Parrish over at The Verge. All the biggest news and trailers from PlayStation's 2024 State of Play. So this is less of a news story, more just like a recap. I don't necessarily have anything I need to read here as far as an article, but they had a decent recap over here. So as we mentioned earlier in this episode, Sony announced at the State of Play that there's going to be a specific, kind of a separate, actually, as of we're recording this on Monday, on Tuesday, tomorrow, there's going to be a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth State of Play, essentially, or direct. It's just focused directly on that. Which, if they're doing a whole, if they couldn't take the 10 minutes to talk about it at the State of Play, obviously there's some sort of demo probably coming. There's some reason they're gonna have to elaborate either more and show some stuff off. So get hyped for that. Get hyped for that. So, and if that's the case, that's probably what I'm going to be streaming Thursday night. I'm really excited to possibly jump into that.
I don't want to drop $400 for one game, Garrett. I don't want to do it. I gotta figure something out.
Oh man, he's borrow a PS5 from a buddy or something, or go play over this. Come down here, come hang out with me, and we can play it together.
I'll take a week off work.
Just take a week off work. Come and chill in my office. I can be here working on my computer, and you can just be playing the PlayStation at the other desk.
Especially because that game is gonna eat my 2070 for breakfast.
Well, if and when it comes out for PC, like how long did it take before? It took a couple years before it came out for PC. So you never know. Square Enix.
Stop. Don't even say they're very good at coding, because they're not. Because where is Kingdom Hearts on Switch? Where are those PS2 games on Switch at? Square Enix.
Remake.
I didn't forget
specs. What was remake minimum PC specs? So I mean, they managed to. Final Fantasy VII Remake was playable on a GTX 1080. That's an old card. And a Core i7 3770. So if they can get Remake to run on that, I think your computer could probably run.
But isn't Rebirth on Unreal 5? So already that's taxing, right?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I don't know.
And it'll run, but will it run well?
I mean, that was the recommended specs for Remake. So if I assume recommended specs could be similar or even just slightly higher, which is still probably within the spec of your PC, but I digress. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we have no idea what the specs are going to be for PC because we won't know for another year or two probably, but either way, I can't wait to see.
I'm gonna have to buy that console again.
Is there a place you can like rent it from? Did the places rent consoles anymore? You just rent a PS5 for a week?
No, that's a good question.
Like I know GameFly does games. Can you rent consoles from GameFly?
Keep talking. I gotta Google the Goog.
Find a local place that's just like, hey, can I borrow that for like
rent
$50, for the week or something? This it seems like this article is in order. Okay, it's backwards. I don't know why. This article is backwards.
Hold on.
Here we go. So the first thing they showed off is Helldivers 2, which apparently is out now, or at least reviews are out. I saw reviews are out for that game. Helldivers 2. It looks cool, but not necessarily my cup of tea. I don't know. Does Helldivers do anything for you? Are you excited for that? Have you seen any of the I guess I should say, have you seen any of the reviews that come out for it? I know they came out.
I haven't seen any of the reviews yet. I've been kind of quiet on it. I really liked the first one, played it a lot on Vita. I don't know how I feel about the over-the-shoulder switch because I'm used to it being top-down. It just makes it feel like every other kind of shooter nowadays.
Okay. Yeah, that was what was unique about it, having like the isometric top-down view, and now it's just now it's just a third-person game. So, or is it first-person even? I don't remember. I think it's one of those. But Dave the Diver is coming to PlayStation this April, and it's coming with a free Godzilla-themed update. So it's getting Godzilla DLC on Dave the Diver, which sounds amazing. I love the trailer for this because it's literally just Is it
-1 Godzilla?
I mean, it just kind of looks like Godzilla. I don't know. They all look the same to me. Maybe it is. It played the music from like in the trailer. I don't know if you saw the trailer during the State of Play.
I just need to know if I need to swim away when those fins start locking in, when the spines start locking in.
You definitely do. I think that, so that's, they even show that in the trailer. Like all of a sudden, like the scales start popping up.
Oh, and no. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. It's not worth it.
It's a great trailer because it has the music too, like the dun 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 dun, like the classic like music. So good. Sonic X Shadow Generations.
My brother flipped out when I told him this was coming.
Really?
Enormous Sonic fan.
Is this a new game or like a remake?
It's a little bit of both. Okay, it's essentially it's like it's Sonic Generations. It's a remaster of that, but they're adding on. You know how they did the Nintendo did Lord Mario 3D World, but they added on Bowser's Fury.
Bowser's Fury. Yep.
It's kind of like that level of expansion on it. Okay. Expansion, that's the word. Thank you.
I see.
Brain?
I see. Okay. Yeah, so fall 2024, that is coming out. So look forward to that. So yeah, it says an all-new story mode starring Shadow with new levels and bosses. Judas, we got a longer kind of gameplay trailer.
This looks awesome. Judas looks did you watch it?
Yeah, so I watched the state of play while it was going live, and dude, like it looks just like BioShock in the best way possible. I'm like,
I was going to say, I'm not complaining.
Like gun in one hand, powers in the other hand. Even the world that it takes place in, there's so many. I'm like, oh, this feels like Rapture. This feels so much like Rapture again.
And
like,
it's the same creator behind it. I'm not complaining.
Ken Levine's back with Ghost Story Studio. This has revealed a first project, narrative shooter called Judas. It says revealed, but this isn't the first time we've heard of it. Which I don't. Did you? IGN posted a tweet saying the same thing. First reveal of Ken Levine's new game Judas. And in the comment, I think it's like
first reveal of gameplay though, isn't it?
That
might be what they mean.
That might be true, but that's not what they said. Anyways, the very first comment on Twitter, and had a bunch of likes, like it was they're getting ratioed, was Jeff Keighley in the comments like, actually the first reveal was Game Awards 2022. and
get him, Jeff.
Like, everyone's just like, oh yeah, get him.
Get him, Jeff.
So good. But yeah, new trailer that gave a better sense of what the sci-fi story is all about. This article has weird like editorial stuff going on in here, but aboard the Mayflower spacefaring city whose citizens are trained to tear each other apart for even the most minor infractions, and where machines control every aspect of business, art, and government, you as Judas are the driver of every event in a mysterious story with a new cast of characters to get to know and to change in a world where every decision you make affects how the story is told. So it's almost like I wonder if they have like multiple endings even too. Like it's almost like you're kind of choose your own adventure kind of thing.
I could be. Very well could be.
We'll have to wait and see. We got a VR spinoff of Metro Exodus on PSVR 2. PSVR 2. So there you go, Adrian. You said nothing is coming to PSVR. You were getting the new. I get it. All right. You can wake up now. Because we got a deeper look at Team Ninja's latest, which we already knew that Rise of Ronin was coming out on PS5 March 22nd, but here's another look at an action RPG with a heavy focus on actual gameplay at its core.
Actually looks pretty neat. Don't know if I buy it day one, but I definitely would play it.
My problem is it looks...
Ghost of Tsushima?
It's like Ghost of Tsushima was made by Ubisoft.
That's very accurate, actually.
Like even some of like the mechanics, and unfortunately, even some of like the like the animations of certain things. I'm like, oh, this is like there was again, it was just a trailer. It's not final product, but there's some unfinished bits in the trailer, and I was like, ooh, that was a little janky. Like the way like they like lasso roped the top of that spire, and all of a sudden they're just like, I'm here, and I don't know. Is it? But then
is it coming out this year, or is it a ways out
March 22nd? So I'm like a month and a half. Like it's pretty soon, so it should be pretty polished. But who knows when this trailer is from?
That's fair too. They could have fixed that by now.
It looks like it could be fun, but that's my takeaway. I was like, oh, it's like Ghost of Tsushima made by Ubisoft. I kind of wish it was just Ghost of Tsushima 2 because I didn't finish that game, but I played a lot of it, and that game is.
You should go back. Fun. That game is fantastic.
So much fun. Yeah, I know. I've only heard amazing things about it, and I mean, again, I played a lot of it and enjoyed what I played. So I would love to finish that bad boy, but there's too many games I got to finish. That's the thing.
So awesome! What a great problem.
Until Dawn is getting a remake.
For what? For what?
It's a new version, so you can play it on PC and PS5.
Why not just can't you download the PS4 version to play on PS5 already?
Yeah.
What was the point? Why don't you just tell people to do that?
Why would they make Last of Us Part 2 remake? Exactly. The same reason they're making this remake for no reason other than just money.
Well, to promote, aren't they making a movie for Until Dawn? Is that why?
I feel like I've heard that. I don't know if I've ever seen a for sure confirmation of that, but I think that is a thing I've heard. But here's the biggest news. Here's what everyone actually cares about. Death Stranding 2's new trailer is delightfully disturbing.
Dude.
Andrew Webster. It was a 9 minute in 40 something seconds, almost 10 minutes long.
It flew.
Madness.
It flew.
Absolute madness. So the trailer begins and I'm like, yes, you gotta be kidding me. No way. I can't believe it. This is so awesome. And very quickly I'm like, wow, this game is off its rocker already. So rewind a little bit. When first Death Stranding came out, a lot of us were like, wow, this game is crazy. Like, what in the world is this even about? Like, what is Kojima smoking over there, right? But then once the game came out, it was like, oh, okay. A lot of the pieces were able to be put together, and this makes a lot more sense. It's still wild, but it makes a lot more sense, and I can justify it, and I can really connect with this emotionally even. Like, I love that game. Like, it's like, I mean, you guys know how much I love Death Stranding. The story in that game is incredible and just heart-wrenching and so intense.
I'm right there with you, brother.
I know. I'm speaking to the listeners.
Collector's edition.
I'm speaking to the listeners who still hate Death Stranding with a passion for some reason.
That game is amazing. I have it with me all the time now. That's how good it is.
Yeah, it's out on iOS now. So
yes,
playing on your phone. But this trailer, every step of the way, I was like, oh, Kojima, you might have gone too far with this one. You might have gone too far. Like, I'm watching it. I'm like, I don't know how you're going to tie any of these things together.
When did it hit you? When the baby spat out a micro spaceship?
When the baby spits out a giant spaceship. When there's a cat that's covered in tar with bat wings, like gargoyle wings. When there's for no reason, like Sam and Fragile are just blue Smurfs just walking
out
around
of nowhere. Did it hit you when Fragile's gloves, or sorry, when her mask just does it for her, when just goes over her face like somebody's holding her face? She
has two hands around her neck that cover her face like a mask and help her hold her cigarette when she smokes.
Honestly, that was a pretty cool way to light a cigarette. I'm not gonna lie to you, that quick like that and it lit.
Or when Higgs is, I guess spoilers of the first Death Stranding, Higgs is back from the dead in a body that looks
way different.
Looks eerily like Amelie's, and he's apparently a rock star. He's a rock star. His weapon is literally an electric guitar that shoots lasers when he plays it. And it has a power axe built into it. He's literally they call guitars like it's my axe. This is literally an axe. This is his axe. He can play guitar to shoot lasers, or he spins it around the other way and he fights a baby ninja. Did you notice that giant ninja, like samurai?
It's a baby. Yeah, it was laughing like a baby.
It sounded like BB. It's like a BB inside of a giant ninja thing. Yeah. I'm like, what is?
And I'm sure that'll be explained as well.
What is going on? So I feel like I could just keep saying.
You know, Kojima was like, he was walking around his office when he was writing this. He was like, "What if I make the guitar electric? Wait. What if the guitar shoots electricity? It's an electric guitar, right? Right?
Exactly. Oh man, I know it sounds like we're making all these things up, but you just go watch the trailer. It's the best 10 minutes of your life. It'll be the best.
It's
10 minutes of
awesome.
your life.
It's an awesome trailer.
Oh man,
it's a short film in itself, honestly.
Salkis brings up a good point. What's the deal with the puppet anyways? There's a little puppet dude
We
too.
don't know. That's the weirdest part. We don't, and it's half frame rate.
Yeah, it's like animated in like a really cool stop motion-y, kind of like
it's
into
on
the
like
Spider-Verse,
threes.
threes. And it like hisses at Higgs at one point, like gets all pissed off and like hisses at like a cat. Who is this guy? I don't know. No idea.
He'll be your best friend by the end of the game. Mark my words. Mark my words.
Sulky says Kojima's on meth. Changed my mind. I love him, but he's on meth. And Lindsay says the entire team behind the game was probably on meth. It's like every morning.
Look at the results we get, though.
You come
just
into
saying,
work,
there might be something to it.
and they just like hand you like, all right, here you go. Here's your dose for the day. Go to work. Everyone's like,
Herman Hulse comes in.
I got an idea. Have you now?
We should not do this because we could probably get jammed up. Herman Hulse would be like, "Hey, this is actually slander. This is actually libel." Allegedly.
Allegedly.
That's our theory. That's what happens. Okay.
Or Kojima is just.
We're only theorizing that Herman Hulse supplies methamphetamines to the entire Kojima production staff in order to create their games. Because how else would they be that out there?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Could be acid. Could be acid.
Could be acid. And one more thing from Kojima, as if Death Stranding 2 and OD weren't enough, Kojima confirmed that he's working on a new IP with Sony, described as next generation action espionage game. So in this article says, so Metal Gear Solid. Basically, from the description, it's like, okay, this is Metal Gear Solid. Oh, well, he uses the word action espionage, which is different than the original, because the first Metal Gear was tactical espionage. So this is probably going to be more like Metal Gear Solid 5, but he's making a stealth game specifically for PS5. But he's not going to start. They're not starting any work on it until Death Stranding 2 is complete, and after it launches in 2025. We did get a date, or at least a year.
So it's a
on Death
PS6
Stranding 2.
game.
It's probably a PS6 game. So yeah, absolutely bonkers news there. And I loved how it ended too, where he like just randomly like looks to the side, points at a drone,
and the drone comes out, and they're at Columbia Studios.
They're at Columbia Studios. Oh man, so good. Basically just showing like Kojima
muscle. He's
Kojima,
him.
We gave you a blank check. Do whatever you want. Make all the movies and games you want. Like PlayStation is giving you a blank check.
Kojima and PlayStation, playing chess on this one, dude. You know what Death Stranding is? Death Stranding is a game where it's like when they play music with no words on the radio. You know what I mean? Like the cool people who know about how good this stuff is.
Okay.
They'll get there. They'll see it. They'll hear it.
See it.
It's for them. You know? Most people won't understand it, but the cool kids, they'll get it. The cool people will find it.
They get it.
You know?
They get it. Man. So, I mean, I was thinking the other day too, like Kojima Productions has a lot on their plate right now. Like they got Death Stranding 2 they're working on. They got OD they're working on. They're eventually going to have this new PlayStation game they're working on. They've already announced they're making a movie or a TV show. We don't really know for sure, but some sort of like film adaptation of Death Stranding that's an original story, not connected to the game. Like, I don't know.
I think it's going to be like Quantum Break.
I'm excited. I'm really excited about all the projects they have coming out of there. It's going to be wild. And even this new one too, which is codenamed Fizzant, which is a wild name. The new action espionage game is also supposed to have like film/TV like connections to it as well. So
you know it has something to do with the other realm, right? Fizzant. Come on, isn't physical?
Sure.
Come on, it's Kojima.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're probably right. And then the last, actually, this happened before, but it's just the last thing on this article. Konami just stealth launched a Silent Hill game. Silent Hill, the short message launched.
Yeah, I heard nobody's checking for this one.
during the State of Play. The trailer made it look incredible. I have not heard great things about it, though. I'm curious to try it out. Like, it is a free demo. It's a free game. It's not a demo. It's technically a game. It's a short game, but
yeah, if they put it out for free, that kind of tells me what I need to know.
Yeah, it says it's a short experimental free-to-play game meant to introduce newcomers to the joys of the idyllic foggy city. So it's just a way to kind of like wet people's whistle for Silent Hill, since
it's a demo.
It's a playable teaser to basically get people in the mood. Because over the next, what that was like last year, they announced like 4 new projects for Silent Hill between remakes and other new projects. So I think that's the whole gist of this, is like, hey, there's a bunch of new stuff coming out. Play this game to kind of get an idea of what Silent Hill's like. That was one thing I noticed too in the trailer for this game, Silent Hill: A Short Message. Boy, there's so many things that I was immediately like, that's from PT. That's from PT. That bathroom, that sink, that almost looks like exactly like the one from PT.
Hey,
oh,
if
that
you
hallway.
Still got the assets.
That weird like ghost thing or creature thing coming down the hallway and like the jerky, like crazy, like that's from PT. Like they're completely lifting all this stuff from PT, and I'm like, I guess if you have the assets, might as well use them. Too bad they
Why not
botched them, but wild, absolutely wild. So yeah, that was the PlayStation State of Play. It was okay. It was a good time. It was a good time. If anything, just for Death Stranding 2 for me. All the Kojima news, I'm like, you know what? Worth it. This was very much worth it.
Had to change your pants after.
I was pretty stoked, to be honest. Yeah, I guess we can move on unless you have any other thoughts on the State of Play. Move on to this last news story.
Surprisingly devoid of first-party titles still.
Yes.
Don't know where those are. Starting to get a little worried.
That is
we don't have anything on the slate for this year as far as PlayStation Studios games. We have some second-party stuff and I think that's described as whether either Sony owns the studio and not the IP, or they own the IP and not the studio developing it, which I think that's how they qualify second party, which is Helldivers and Stellar Blade. Right. So we don't have anything from them directly on the slate for 2024, and that's very concerning. Granted, it's only February. We could get another State of Play in, April or whatever, and they may have something else coming out, but it's looking spooky so far. So yeah, hopefully that turns around.
Not much going on. You would think we would be hearing more about some of those PlayStation studios since it's been a while, but nah, we're not getting anything. So I don't know. Give me a reason to have this box over here that I didn't even.
Give me a reason to get one.
That I
besides
didn't even,
a third-party Final Fantasy game.
I can't remember if I talked about this on the show or not, but last year, you know how PlayStation, well, everyone, but PlayStation specifically, they always do like the wrap at the end of the year. Oh, here's your stats for the year, blah, blah, blah. In order to do it, you have to have a certain amount of hours to even build up enough stats or whatever. I didn't, and after doing some research, I found out that the minimum of hours you need to have played on your PlayStation 5 is 10 hours. I went to go get my Wrapped, and they're like, sorry, you don't have enough hours. You have not banked enough hours on the PlayStation 5 to get a PlayStation Wrapped. So literally, in all of 2023, I put less than 10 hours on my PS5.
You honestly might want to take those covers off and blow some dust out of there.
Absolutely wild. I mean, but last year, back in March, that's when we got our Steam Decks, and I've just been off to the races with
Never
my
look back.
Steam Deck. My Steam Deck and my Switch became my two main machines. Like, I didn't need that because even last year, like, there wasn't really, other than Final Fantasy 16,
which also isn't a Sony first party game.
Yeah, and I purchased it with every intention to play, and then never did because it went on sale at one point. I got it for cheap. I got it for like $30 or whatever. And then Spider-Man 2 came out the end of the year. But
okay, that was one, and I'll give you that one. I
just had a million other games to play, so I haven't even touched that one either. So it's like, even last year was like a lot of game last year.
It's
awfully empty. So I mean, I could be forgetting more, but
Alicia says, dang, I'm on my PS5 all the time. And I'm not saying that there's nothing to play. I'm saying that Sony is not putting out games themselves that make it a compelling case for you to want to buy a PS5. Yeah. Right? If you're buying a PS5 for third party and all your friends play there, absolutely it makes sense. But if Sony themselves is not making a convincing case with their software lineup for you to buy a PS5, like say you're the kind of person who only plays single player story games, right? Or you're the only kind of person who plays games by yourself.
Which is what I do, yeah.
Right. What came out from Sony so far? In the past couple years, we got Spider-Man,
God of War Ragnarok,
which is also on PS4.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not really a compelling.
Yeah. And I mean, even just for specifically my gameplay style in the current stage of life I'm in is much more like I want to be able to play from my couch. I shouldn't say that, not my couch. I want to be able, because I don't have a couch. I don't have a couch. I want to be able to play like sitting in bed in my room or whatever. Like my living situation, I don't have a living room that I can go to and sit and play a PlayStation. Mm-hmm. Growing up, and for most of my life, even my adult life, that was the case. The last 3 years, though, our living situation is we live in a house with other family members, and so it's like we don't have a normal living room. Like my PlayStation is like down here in my office, and so at night it's like I can't just sit down on the couch next to my wife and kick it and play video games. It's like, no, I have to like leave the house to play my PlayStation because we don't have a TV in the living room up in the house.
Honestly, and so, a Portal sounds like a perfect device for you. I'm surprised you didn't get one.
Because I can do remote play for free on my Steam Deck.
That's fair too.
Why would I pay $300 when I can do it for free on my Steam Deck?
That's fair. That is fair.
So, but again, it's like, but Steam games are just so easily accessible and cheaper. Because on a Steam sale, I can buy a game off Steam for $5 to $10, like 6 months after a game comes out, or $70 on my PS5. So I'm like, I'll go with the Steam version, you know. And I can stream it from my PC, you know, onto my Steam Deck. So I leave my PC on in my office. I can be sitting up in bed and streaming it, no problem, all over the local area network. So. That's so it's a very specific use case, but that's why my PlayStation has not gotten a lot of love. When God of War Ragnarok came out, I was like, I gotta play it, and I did. But last year is like nothing big enough came out that's in my wheelhouse to even warrant more than 10 hours of gameplay, which is wild because Final
Fantasy 16 was it for me. I just didn't have no money. So
yeah. So yeah,
but that was also like Square Enix. That wasn't them.
Exactly. Not a PlayStation Studios game. But yeah, I don't know. It's wild because I am, you know, by definition, typically, you know, people be like, oh, you're a Sony pony. I've always been a PlayStation boy. I grew up, my dad, he's made me play PlayStation. I've always I have PlayStation in my blood. There's PlayStation in my DNA. So it's wild to me to think like I didn't touch it for more than 10 hours last year. Woof.
Your little platelets are in the shape of the PlayStation buttons.
Exactly. Little sacred symbols that was floating around in my blood. Thank you so much for watching that clip from our podcast. Remember, if you want to watch the full episode, link will be in the description below. You can click on that and check it out. We got listener questions. We got more news segments. We got what you playing. We got a lot of fun things. So yeah, more than just the news. There's a lot more to the show that you should go check out. So remember, click that link in the description. Check out that full episode.